Right, we are now live.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll start seeing people picking it up very quickly. Until we'll leave it live for a minute, just because I've just got to go into Audacity and redo that. So just give me 2 seconds.
Yes, mate.
Because it's not picked up what I needed it to pick up. Okay, it's not going to do the podcast. That's all right. We'll just do it this way instead. So that will cut down on the internet as well. Right, we'll do it off of here. So just 2 seconds. Sorry, Glenn.
You're fine, mate. You carry on, buddy.
Just getting it all set up so that we all know what we're doing. Right. We've got 6 people watching so far. So welcome to the Isthmian Show, and we're here, of course, for the next 2 hours, and we are streaming from home, so hopefully the internet will last out. If it doesn't, we will record the show and you get to see it a little bit later on tonight. As you can see, to my left, or maybe to your right, depending on where you're looking at it at home, it's not Keith, it's somebody different. Well, unfortunately, Keith cannot make it with us tonight. His son has had a bit of an accident, so he's the last time I spoke to Keith, he was at A&E. So hopefully the young lad is going to be okay, and I'll try and speak to Keith a little bit later on tonight, and hopefully everything will be okay with him and, of course, his young son. But, of course, stepping in for Keith tonight on show 199, of course, if you recognise him, everybody recognises him. It's Glenn Driver, of course, my co-host on the preview show. So welcome, Glenn.
Hi, mate. How you doing? You well?
Not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad. It was just glad to be sort of getting here to this 199th show, because, as you know, it should have been 200th show probably a few weeks ago, and it's been sort of rolling on and rolling on and rolling on. So next week will be the show 200. So hopefully, when we get to that next week, it'll be a good show. We're going to try and get back all of the people, of course, that have had something to do with the show through the years, so we're going to have a few of the people that were sort of co-hosts with myself from a few years back as well. So it'll be very interesting just to see and listen to a few of the others and getting some, some comments from them guys as well from maybe up to 4 or 5 years ago.
Good, man. Sounds good.
Well, we're just trying to. So tonight, just so everybody knows what we're going to do, we're going to have. Chris Smith, he's going to be on, the assistant manager from Averley. He will join us very shortly, the minute I can find his telephone number on my phone. And then, of course, also as well, later on tonight, we're going to have Dan Richardson. He's going to join us at about 8:30, and he's actually going to be talking to us about a refereeing performance. And I think a load of people were quite surprised, and young Mr. McMahon decided he was going to put the black uniform on over the weekend, and he refereed 2 games. But I don't know if anybody actually was a witness to Keith's performance as a referee. But if you were, then why not give us a shout or give us a call on 07912 435 005. Give us a call on that number as well to let us know how Mr. McMahon got on at the weekend, and I think Dan Richardson will give him a few words of advice when he comes on. And of course, he'll also tell us how he's been getting on as well at up in Wales as well, because he's up there now reffing up in Wales. But we'll try and see if we can't get hold of young Chris and see if he's picking up the phone. But I know Averley did have a game tonight, and unfortunately that game has been now cancelled. Hello, Chris. It's only David.
Only David.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right.
Good. I hear the game tonight has been called off in the end.
It's been called off by what we're doing, mate. I'm not live at my own
Yeah, you are live, completely live.
Blimey, sorry.
So be careful what you say.
Right, we got an internal game between, mixing it up a bit, because there's a few of the lads need some pitch time.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've got proper referees and everything, so it's been done properly.
Happy days. Well, joining me tonight, Chris, he's not Keith, unfortunately. He's got an issue at home, but Glenn Driver, the ex-Leicester manager, is with us as well.
Yeah, I know, Glenn. Hello, Glenn. How are you?
How are you doing, mate? I see you sitting top of the tree, so you're most probably in a buoyant mood this evening.
yeah, it's going all right. We've got a very, very tough game on Saturday against Coggeshall. I think they're going to be thereabouts at the end of the season. They've got some quality players, so we're going to have to be on the top of that game if we're going to beat them. But no, all in all, we're doing okay. We're not going to go overboard about it. You know, we haven't really played to our best in many matches, but we're nicking results like we did on Saturday, to be fair. We didn't play particularly well, but we ground out a result.
I think looking at you, as I've looked at you over the last few weeks and since the season started, mate, you've got goal scorers in your side, McCoffey and Tom Richardson. They'll win your games, mate. So if you're keeping clean sheets, you always got an opportunity to win your football matches. And I can see already plus 16 after 14 games, so you must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, we are. I mean, to be fair, it's been a team effort. And not only have we got Tom and Alex, who, you know, everyone knows about, we've got a couple of lads who have been on the bench, who've got goals in as well. So, you know, and Andy Freeman's been weighing in with a few, and he's a very underrated player who, you know, we think highly of. So, you know, we've got goals there, but to be fair, the back four have done well for us. Connor, Crossy, young Sam Bavemba, Jake Picky have done really well for us in the past month, and kept us in games on a few occasions, especially at places like Witten, where we were under the hammer, but, you know, in the first half. So, you know, it's a team effort. It's not just about the goal scorers.
Are you expecting a big crowd though this weekend? Of course, with the possible attendance of a certain Mr. Ollie Mers.
Well, let's hope the big man turns up, because, yeah, we've put a few in the gate. But I like to think we've been getting gates. I mean, you correct me, Dave. We're getting gates about 250. I'd like to think we might go over 300 for this one. It'd be a good game, because I've watched Coggeshall play, and they're a really exciting football team. I watched them play over at Sudbury, and I watched them earlier on the season, and they like to play on the front foot. They've got, you know, Sam Bantic, who I had as a youngster and had him at Brentwood. He's a fantastic player with lots of goals on him. I'm a great fan of the boy ball, one of the best target men in the league, and he scores a few goals. And we got Corey Davison. So they've got some quality boys there who will obviously test us. So, no, I think it'd be a great game of football. I think it'd be end to end. But hopefully it's not like the game we had against Brentwood. I can do about another one of those.
Well, that was a good game.
But, yeah, it was if you were neutral, Dave, but not if you're actually involved.
But I must admit, for my own personal sake, I do hope he does turn up, because if I don't, Heather's just going to be doing a nut. So hopefully, he's going to be there.
I think you'll see one of photo with the boy, isn't she?
Yeah, I probably think she will. I think she won't be taking photographs of her, I think, constantly with him, I think.
Yeah.
We played him. I remember playing him in the pre-season. We played him pre-season when I was manager at Leiston, and he was there, and he's a character, and he does put people on the gate, etc., etc. But like I say, what I like about him as well is he's down to earth, and he loves his non-league football. And like I say, if he turns up at Avery, I'm sure there'll be a few women screaming from the sidelines along with Dave.
Yeah,
but I mean, saying that, I know you're saying about, you know, sort of big crowds and that, but I looked at their crowd in the game just previously, and it wasn't that high at all. I can't remember exactly what the size of the crowd was off the top of my head, but it wasn't a great crowd at all.
Which game's that, sorry?
This weekend, sort of Coggeshall game at last weekend, it didn't seem like it was a big crowd at all.
I think they average just over 150, Dave, don't they? I don't really think they average. They don't get big gates down at Coggeshall.
No, I mean, I know they were away, but I mean, they got 78.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
At Basildon, so it's not like somebody you expect, you know, like a Berry Town.
You got to remember, though, in fairness to Coggeshall, they've got to compete against, like, Braintree, who are only just, you know, I come from that part of the world, they're only about 5 or 7 minutes away, so it's always got to compete against them. and Cold Year's not far, is it? But I mean, to be fair, it's a club on the up, and I mean, I've been going over there one week for like the last 10 years. I've been was involved in youth football, and the facilities have come on a bomb. They've got, the changing rooms have improved. The clubhouse is really, really, really good. So, it's definitely a club on the up, and the people are investing a lot of money to get the club up to where it needs to be. So when they do progress,
like you just said about the crowds, I'm looking at Brighton Sea, who played at home to Burgess Hill, had 102. So you look, there is quite a lot of clubs around that area where you're most probably fighting for support. With most probably about 5 or 6 teams in and around that local area.
But Chris, I mean, tell us a little bit about the new lad we've just brought in from Southend, is it?
Dan Halford. I'll tell you a few bits and pieces, to be fair. We've got an injury to Jake Pitty, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. So, as you know, we've got a little bit of a tie-up with Southend because they use our ground for their under-23 fixtures. And I rang up Ricky Duncan on Tuesday and I said, is there any chance of having Dan? Because I've seen Dan play several times. He's a very, very handy fullback. He's very, very good on the ball. And unfortunately for him, he was having a very good game and he got clobbered. He was knocked out for a couple of seconds. So we brought him off as a precaution. But no, he's a ball-playing full-back, which fits our blueprint because we do like to get the ball down and play. And he's a lovely lad as well. He's fitted in straight away. All being well, he'll be fit for Saturday.
So, I mean, with the side though, I mean, are you and James sort of happy with the way that the side's been progressing this year? Is there areas that you still feel you need to maybe bring in a couple, or I mean, what's the feeling?
Well, to be honest with you, the thing I've noticed with the squad, the last 2 games in particular, there's been a real togetherness. Little things like in the bar after the Brentwood game, they all sat around the table and they stayed for a good hour and a half. They're little things, but that for me is what a real team's about. And the way they celebrated on Saturday, because the last 5 minutes, Milton Hall really put us to the sword. I mean, it was so desperate. We had Richardson clearing them off the line, and the boys, really did celebrate like together. So we think we've got a really tight knit group. But as you know, a lot of them have been playing with each other since they were children, and I think sometimes that's a good thing. We do have a real team, I think. And as for doing, what are we looking? You're always looking for players, but to be fair, at the moment we're content with the squad that we've got, and you have to be aware of what's out there just in case you have injuries. Hence, Jake's injury. I mean, we've watched Dan Humphries play a few times for Southend 23. So when we had the injury, at least we knew there was 1 or 2 players on our list that we could go to get reinforcements. But at the moment, we're reasonably lucky with injuries. Other than the Freddie Guard injury, we haven't got anything long term. So, we're not really looking. If someone comes along, you never say never, but this team we've got, we're really, really happy with them. And whilst they keep performing, there's no reason for us to really, take anybody in.
Yeah.
Not in the short term anyway.
Well, looking at the fixtures that we've got, coming up in December, I mean, some toughies, some local derbies and teams that have beaten us previously. So, I mean, Coggeshall at the weekend, then an away trip to Tilbury, which of course is never easy. And then of course
it won't be now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then a home game on the 17th, and of course that's against Great Wakery, of course a team that of course previously they've beaten us as well. And then of course the big one on Boxing Day at home but away against Grace. And then on the 29th at home to Barking. So a few tough fixtures coming up as well, Chris.
That they are, and to be fair, mate, in this league, there isn't an easy game. When we went to Whitton, which on paper, people would say that's a game we should win. Yeah, we did win it, but for the first hour, we were hanging on in there, to be fair, mate. So, you know, we've lost games, 2 games, one to Romford and one to Felixstowe. And, you know, on paper, some would say we should win those games, but, you know, we didn't win them. So we don't take anything for granted, and a part of our job as a management team is to make sure the boys go out there with the right mindset and treat, you know, all our opponents with a degree of respect. And you know, they're professional. So, you know, I'm looking at that final fixtures, and I think, obviously this weekend's a toughie. Tilbury away is never easy fixture. I mean, I've gone there with Brentwood when we were in the top 2 or 3 and got beat there. So we weren't taking that one easy. And they've made some fantastic signings. Mark Harrison, I think, is an excellent choice of manager. I mean, I was fortunate enough to spend a bit of time with Mark, going over here the other week, and he's a really good guy who knows his football. So I'm sure Tilbury are only going to go one way with him in charge.
Well, of course, is there, I know you're probably going to say no because it's too far in advance, but there's certainly a big game coming up for the club at the end of January, if everything stays the way it is, and a certain home game against Bowes and Pitsea.
Yeah, I mean, Morsley's got them on fire at the moment, hasn't he? I mean, they've got some players. I mean, I had Martin Stokes when I was at Brentwood. He's an excellent centre back, and he masters that defence brilliantly. They've got Lou Manor, who up with Tom Richardson is one of the best target men in the division. They've also re-signed Brad Warner, which was more than a bit of a coup. And then they've got some experience there with Tom Stephen, Max Gould, and people like that. So, that'd be a really, really, really good game. I missed the first one because I was otherwise indisposed, but let's hope it's as good as that game was, because that was, from what I saw on the video, a fantastic game to watch. I think we managed to get out of jail at the end.
Well, it's going to be, we were saying earlier on, we said this on the show previously as well, the North Division is going to be a difficult division even to get into the playoffs, let alone win it.
Hey mate, if someone offered us the playoffs now, I'd take the hand off. I think this league's a really, really good league this year, and we to get in the playoffs, we've really got to keep our foot on the accelerator, because there's going to be teams who ain't involved in the top 6 or 7. There's always 1 or 2 teams that come through with a charge at the end. And the other problem we got this year as well is you've got to have enough points so if you do win the playoffs, you get
the home draw.
Promoted.
Yeah.
So, I was going to ask you a question actually. Looking at the league table, 1st to 6th, is that how you see the league panning out? Yourselves, Bowser, Coggleshall, Malden, Heybridge, Grays. And then obviously you go down Basildon, Bury, Felixstowe, Sudbury, Canvey, right down to 11th. Do you see any of those from 6 to 11 sort of like gate crashing that top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. We played Bury the other week, and I thought that was a really good side. And they've made a very good signing with the boy
Ramadan.
There was a Euro player. You had him.
Yeah, the boy Kamel Ramadan, very good striker. Yeah, I mean they were struggling for goals, Bury, and I see he scored twice again the weekend. I think he got 2 the previous weekend. So I think with Bury they've always been in and around this sort of like 5th to 8th, haven't they? And then sort of like fall away right at the depth. But I'm just looking at clubs like, Felixstowe, who I know, obviously a few players are at Felixstowe. I know, obviously, Sudbury being quite close to me. But the one that surprised me is how far Canvey are down the league table at the moment. They're now sort of like 9 points outside the playoffs. And that's why I said to you, do you see, are Canvey in a false position, or like I said, I haven't seen Canvey, but with it being a big football club, I thought they would have been in and around that top 5.
Well, I would be honest with you. If you're asking me for a team that definitely make the charge, I'd say Canvey. We played them very recently. We beat them 2-0, but the first 20 minutes we didn't get a kick. They got their tactics spot on. They really give us a hard time. And we got a goal against the run of play, and then the game changed a little bit. But I think Mark Bentley is an excellent coach, and he did a really good job under difficult circumstances when he was at Grays. And he's got a good group of players there. I mean, a lot of those boys were there for the game against Harrogate last season in the playoff final, weren't they? So I think he'll get them organised and firing again, and I think they could come with a late charge for sure. They've got the resources there. I think they've got a good squad. I personally fancy them to be there or thereabouts. I don't think they're finished where they are now. That's for sure.
What about Basildon? I mean, they've sort of like dropped points with the change of management and things. Do you think they'll come again?
That's a difficult one. I think it's gonna take maybe a little bit of time for them to regroup, because you can't just get. I mean, I suspect that they've got at least 10 or 12 players in, haven't they, since not left, and it's going to take a while for them to get and gel together. I think it's a tough ask, but I wouldn't dismiss it. They've got enough points at the moment, haven't they? If they can turn things. I mean, I think the biggest problem since the new people took over is scoring goals. I think they've missed Moses, and I personally like the boy Adlington, who's gone to Haybridge. And when we played them, we had them 2 weeks in a row. We had them in the trophy. I thought they were a really, really good side. But some of the better players have obviously left. But if he can get someone scoring, and they're not letting many in, are they? So, if they can start doing that, there's no reason why they ain't going to be in and around it.
I'll tell you, I'll take my hat off to people like Jamie Webster, because when you look in your league, there's some ex-pros who are in charge. I mean, Wayne Brown's at Malden and Tiptree, Julian Dix obviously at Haybridge, Jamie Stewart at Grays, Ben Chinnery at Bury, and you're coming up against some really, really good managers and good coaches, and that's obviously no disrespect to Jamie, because the job he done at Brighton was fantastic. Yeah. But do you enjoy pitting your wits against these big names, and does it give you that little buzz to go up against them?
No, he's a really, really good guy. He's a very humble man, and what he does is he gets people around him to help, and he delegates and trusts you to do the job he's given you to do. And the players love him. The fact that that so many of them have wanted to come and play for them again, like we took Tom, Connor, Freddie Gard, George Doyle. If I've left anyone out, I apologise, guys. But they've all come here and played for him, and he's done. I think he's done a good job. I mean, when things weren't going right when we first came here and we were struggling, you start to question your own what you do when you're having a bad run. Question whether you're doing it right, but you start by his guns. We do try and play football, and he's a good guy to work for. I mean, we spend a lot of time together, because we obviously have to go down from up your way to down here. I echo what you say, mate. I think Jamie Webster's is a very humble guy. I've got a lot of time for Jamie. He cares about the football club that he manages, and I think that's very, very important. If you're going to, we're not just managers of a first team, we're managers of a football club, and I think Jamie takes that role on and does that to his full potential, and I wish him well for the rest of the season. I'd love to see you finish top of the tree. If not, like I say, playoffs will be a great achievement for you, but I see you being right up there come the end of the season, so I wish you all the best. That's really nice of you to say that. I hope you get the job you're looking for as well, mate.
Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate that.
I thought you did really well up there. I know how hard we find it to get players to come all the way up to Brighton. He said, God knows how you managed to get them to go to Leicester.
Like I said, it's a brilliant football club, Leicester, and like I say, it's still close to the heart. And I just wish them all the best. And like I say, I want them to keep improving, keep building. I left the philosophy there of bringing kids through, which they seem to carry on doing. Yeah. So I wish them all the best for the rest of the season as well.
Was you sorry, Chris? Was you disappointed to miss out on getting Phil and Aaron, or was it something that was you just physically couldn't the club couldn't stretch to get those guys into the team?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Was you, that's right. I say, was you a little bit disappointed, or did you not go in for Aaron Condon and Phil Kelly, or was that something that was just sort of out of should we say, the price?
To be fair, Aaron, I know that the man sitting with you, he tried to get Aaron, but Aaron's a school teacher in Clacton, and it was never ever something that was viable, because it was just too much travelling involved for him to come down to us. And he's gone back to Brighton, which I'm really pleased about, because he's gone to play for a really good manager there, Tom Mulberry. And I was chuffed a bit to Aaron, because he scored 2 goals a weekend, didn't he? Which got a win. And Phil Kelly, again, he's gone to play for his local club. He lives near Sudbury. And, I know he's enjoying his football at the moment there, because I work with his parents, and he's happy with the move he's made. He's playing for another good guy, Mark Morsley. So, but, like I say, we're happy with the boys we've got here, and, I know that Aaron do great things to protect the violence. I think it scored the goals along with Billy Hunt to keep them up.
So I suppose the other question for you is, I know we've spoken about it personally and other bits on Abley TV and stuff, but how excited or how fortunate did you feel to have somebody of the quality of David Hughes sort of fall into your lap?
Sorry, who's that?
David Hughes. Sorry, mate, David Hughes. How was you,
David Hughes? Yeah. Oh, mate, I couldn't believe it. When we approached him and he wanted to come to us, I was chuffed a bit, because I know how good a goalie he is, because when I was running Brentwood under 18s all those years ago, I tried to get him to come and play for us, and he's a goalie that has always been on my radar. And we had the advantage that he's played in the same team as like Connor Witherspoon when they were with each other at East Thurrock, and they've remained good friends. And once we knew that Southend had sent Josh Bexon there, it was an obvious scenario for us to at least have the conversation with David. And to be fair, what we do when we bring players in to our club is we like to bring them to the grounds, show them around this fantastic facility, which incidentally, I never come here, turn up in the car park without feeling excited, because it is a fantastic place to come and do your football. And, we show people like David Hughes and Tom Richardson, Alex Coffey around our ground, and it makes a big difference to us. You don't have to sell it, really, because the facilities do that for us,
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And I mean, Jake from Harlow's just put on there. He's put on there that he's an absolute baller and one of the best keepers he's seen. So, and that's from a Harlow fan. But I suppose the same thing as well. I mean, I think I spoke to you about it as well. I was talking to Jake, who does, of course, his own sort of podcast and stuff, and doing a grand job of that as well with Harlow TV. And he was always telling me about Jason Ray and saying about how brilliant player he was, and they've really got a quality player. And then about a week later, after he's telling me what a good player he is, he's at us, he's with us as well.
Yeah, to be fair, Jason had a little niggle, and he had an illness, so that's why he lost his place in the team. And to be fair, the boys that replaced him have done really well. So he came off the bench on Saturday and made a massive difference to us. And he's a great character against to have around the dressing room. And the thing about Jason is, like a lot of the players we've got, he's very, very versatile. He can play, in different roles, which is really helpful when you're running with 16, 17 players. So Jason was an excellent signing as well. But Hughesy we've been really, really pleased with. He's such he's low maintenance and he's very, very consistent.
I thought he was one of the best goalkeepers I've seen last year. I thought he was one of the best goalkeepers I came across last year, along with the young lad who's at Worthing. I can't remember his name. Yeah. But those two keepers, they were very, very good. And I mean, the boy Hughesy, obviously a bit hard. I thought he was outstanding last year. So yeah, you definitely got, like I say, we can talk about the goals you score, but you got to keep him out the other end, and having him in between the sticks is a big bonus for you.
What David also brings to the party is nowadays goalkeepers have to be able to play football, don't they? Especially over here, we like, it's no secret, we like to play football, and David's got excellent feet, and he's able to, we're able to play up from the back with him in the team, and not only that, he's kicking, long is really good as well, so, he's brought a few attributes to the table, which has helped improve us with our football, to be fair.
Yeah, but knowing you and Webby, you must still love that diag. Richardson, you must still hit that diag now and again.
If you remember the Brighton team, mate, yeah.
Yeah,
Matt Cripps to Aaron Condon, that diag, you mean?
That's the one, mate. Remember it well.
That's got a few goals, didn't we?
You did, mate. Yeah, that was very effective. I've got to agree.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving the secret away for some now.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, buddy. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, the club feels like, that it's going in the right direction and all the rest of it. I mean, do you feel then that, yourself and, James, if we were lucky to either get up through the playoffs or get up this year, do you feel that, the experience with Brighton Sea sort of last season will, put you in good stead?
To be honest with you, I feel on a personal level, I can't speak for James, but I've gone up twice from this league, and both times, for one reason or another, I haven't had the opportunity to see the job through. And I think our biggest issue is getting up in the first place. And, I think that's a massive ask for us. But if we do get up, I think if we can hang on to our players, and I think we've got a squad that would do quite well in the next division. But like I say, let's not run before we can walk. I think our biggest problem is actually going to be getting out of this league, because it's highly competitive, this league. There's some great managers. You've got Bowers, you've got Haybridge, they've got two good managers who know their football. And, we've got to do a really good job to get out of this league. But if we get out of it, I don't think there's a massive gap between the bottom half. I mean, Glenn might tell me otherwise, but I don't think there's a massive gap between the bottom half of the Premier and the top half of our league. I think the teams that have gone up in the main, like Harringay, have proven it, have done really well. Potter's Bar started quite well this season. So I think any of the teams I've spoken about, if they go up this season, I think would compete very well in the league above.
I think what you touched on a little while ago, mate, if you've got that togetherness and you've got a group of players who want to play for each other, like you said at Mildenhall on Saturday, the boys are ecstatic afterwards. I think if you keep that togetherness, I felt we had that at Leiston, there was a togetherness, there was a belief that you'd go out and win football matches. And like I say, with that little bit of experience you and James have had in the Prem with Brighton Sea, I think it'd hold you in good stead for that league. And like you said, Haringey, you know, I thought, was it 4-0 away at Kingstonian the weekend? It's an unbelievable result. But like I said, if there's a togetherness there, there's a belief we've got a chance.
I'm in the dugouts, but Tom's done a brilliant job there. He's got some excellent players around, and I'd like to see them to go up this season. Be a really good thing.
Yeah. So is James watching the show then from the dugout? Then is he? 'Cause I can see that he's watching.
Well, I don't think he knows I'm on your show, does he?
I hope he don't. I think he does now because he's watching.
Yeah. Well, you took me by surprise. I didn't expect you to actually ring me. But no, we're over here tonight just to watch the match, and I've kind of roll over a few trialists, so that's what we're here to do tonight.
He's not letting on who those trialists are, though, Glenn. Have you noticed that?
No, we're not.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's keeping that one and truly quiet, isn't he?
He's got Ollie Mers playing for us on Saturday, isn't he?
Well, he won't get out soon.
Oh, dear. But listen, mate, thank you very much for coming on, and we'll let you get back to your game. And massive thank you, and wish you all the best, and speak to you again at the weekend.
All the very best. Wish you well.
Yeah, we'll be there at the weekend. Yeah.
All right. Look forward to seeing you, mate.
Yeah, see you later. See you, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All the best.
And that was Chris from Averley, assistant manager at Averley. We've had a few messages come in, Glenn, so we'll read some of these out. Aaron Condon said, "Is that a real Picasso behind you, Glenn?"
My missus will kill him. Quality, Aaron. That's brilliant.
Aaron Heathfield said, "Hi, I'm a Sittingbourne fan." Lee Connors coming in as manager at Basel said, "Evening, chaps." As we said, Jake from Harlow Fan TV said, "Hughesy's an absolute baller, the best keeper I've seen at this level." My niece has said hello, so hello Katie as well, so she's watching. And then Jake's come back. It's all about keeping things fresh and trying new things. When we went up, we nearly got to the playoffs the season after, and whether we like it or not, there's financial factor in the Premier more so than in the North. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that, Glenn? Would you say there's a bit more financial wise in that, you know, in the top division than the one below?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some big budgets flying around in the Premier at the moment, and I think the last 2 seasons of that division, Billericay, obviously last year, and 1 or 2 others, I don't really think that's right for me to sit here and say, oh, this club's got that budget, that club's got that budget. But I also do believe in the catchment area as well. You know, like I say, Leiston and Lowestoft and Needham, we were always fighting for the same sort of players. And you look in the north at the moment, you look at Felixstowe and Sudbury, who are obviously local to me. For them to get out of this division, you've got to ask players to either step down or travel from afar. So I think when you ask players to do that, you have got to pay that little bit more money. And, you know, like I said, I don't know what the average budget would be in the north, because I've never really had a lot to do with the division. But, you know, like with Leiston last year, with our budget, yes, we competed in the division and, you know, we made the playoffs. But I think if, no disrespect to Lowestoft, Needham and Leiston, but I think if you put all the best players from those 3 sides into a team, then I think that the group of players of Suffolk football could go and compete and most probably push on and fight for a top 3 finish. But I think with the catchment area of sort of like, you know, the London area, I think there's a lot of players in and around those areas. And like I say, I think that's where clubs like Leiston suffer a little bit because of the catchment area. And that's why they most probably have to pay a little bit more money than other football clubs, unfortunately.
Well, I'm just looking over the top of my computer screen. So as soon as I see any of the big matches come up on the FA Cup draw, I shall let you know as we go along. But Millwall versus Hull's just come out, so that's not necessarily not necessarily a biggie. But there we go. But matches, and so we go through some of these matches from the weekend. Unfortunately, just had a text message from Dan Richardson saying that he's still in his meeting and won't be able to come with us tonight. So we'll talk together tonight. And of course, if anybody wants to join me and Keith and me and Keith, I'm so used to it. Me and Glenn.
Thanks, mate.
If anybody wants to join me and Glenn tonight and give us a call about anything, especially you know, one of the things I was going to bring up as well later on when we speak is maybe racism in non-league game. Is there racism in the non-league game? Have people seen that? I've seen certain managers before now come up and say about racism and that someone's been racist to them, etc., etc. But does that happen in the Isthmian League? If so, give us a call: 07912 435 005. 07912 435 005. Keith's just said LOL because I just said Keith sitting by me instead of you, Gled. So he's watching now anyway. But
evening, Keith.
Everton have just been pulled out. It's Manchester United versus Reading, and Everton have just been pulled out, and they've got Lincoln City. So Dan Cowley goes to Everton. So
wow.
Great draw for him.
Great draw.
Brighton Sea 3, Burgess Hill Town 2. Good result.
Yes. Yeah. Aaron Condon back amongst the goals. Like I say, I tried to sign the lad. I think he's a wonderful footballer. Great left foot. Don't really want to big him up too much because he just came off picture in the background. But no, I think with Azza and with Tom, you know, the manager there, they do really, really well. But like I said, the only disappointing thing for me is 102 supporters going through the gate. You know, I want Brighton Sea deserve more than that. They should have more supporters going through the gate to watch people like Aaron Condon and that. And yeah, great win for them.
Well, Tottenham have just been drawn away to Tranmere, or I think it was, I'm not sure who did, Stockport, I think it was the either or on that one. Yeah, I mean, Brighton Sea have had a tough start, but hopefully, we'll start seeing them moving up the table.
Well, again, they've got goals, haven't they? You know, Billy Hunt, Aaron Condon, you know, they will score goals, just keeping them out of the other end, isn't it? So, you know, I mean, if they avoid relegation, which I think they've got more than enough in their locker to avoid relegation, it'll be another successful season for Tom and everyone who's connected with Brighton Sea.
Chelsea have got Nottingham Forest at home. In that. Carshalton 1, Enfield Town 0. And that was a bit of a surprise for me. I mean, Enfield seem to be going through a little bit of a sticky patch at the minute.
But Carl Shorten have had some fantastic results of late, haven't they? They've really picked up. And I mean, sitting, you know, 6th from top, you know, level on points with Worthing. All right, they played a few more games, but yeah, they're having a very good season in the Prem. And like I said, could they be one of the guys who, you know, gate crashed those playoffs? But yeah, another great result. And like you say, Enfield, you know, down to 11th, and had a bit of a poor run of late. And yeah, so not a shock result, but an interesting one.
Dorking Wanderers 0, Tonbridge Angels 1. It says Sonny Miles on 90th minute, but the message I got through, it was the machine that scored. But according to this, it says Sonny Miles. But football webpage definitely said Alex Reid on at the weekend.
What a great result for Steve McQuinn that is, away at Dorking. He'd have enjoyed that, Steve. I listened to his interview after the game, and he'd had a hard month in November, and sometimes we'll go through them as managers. We have a bad month, and you don't know when you're going to get back on track. But that takes him 2nd from top, and that's against one of the top 6 sides. So for him to go away, keep a clean sheet, win 1-0, he'll be chuffed. He'll be very, very chuffed. Great result.
One of these two teams we were talking about off air earlier on, I won't say which one it is, but Folkestone Invicta 6, Mersham 2. So, you know, that's a great result for Folkestone Invicta. A hat-trick there for Ian Draycott as well.
It is, and I don't get Mersham. I don't get Mersham at the moment. Something's not quite right there, because he's got a very good squad there, and a squad capable of playoffs, you know, and you look at the league table, and you know, you look where Mersham are at the moment, 18th. You know, it's worrying times for Hayden down at Mersham. But yeah, a great result for folks who are now sort of like starting to come good again. Draycott with a hat trick. They got goals in their side, and yeah, you're smiling because another FA Cup. I might have to put the FA Cup draw on and see if I can beat you to a team coming out of it.
Well, I smile because it's my team that just got drawn out. Solihull Moors or Blackpool versus Arsenal has just come out. So that's a great draw. But yeah, so going back to the old Folkestone, great result for Folkestone. But yeah, again, another poor result for Mersham. Absolutely. I've just had confirmation it was Sonny Miles that got the goal for Tonbridge Angels. Harlow Town 1, Bognor Regis Town 1. Harlow's form over the last few weeks seems to have been taking the turn for the good.
Yeah, it's good to see. You know, I mean, again, you know, Bognor Regis come down. You know, I haven't seen Bognor since they got promoted, so I don't really know an awful lot about what they would have at the moment. But you look where they are in the league, 9th, just outside the playoffs. You know, and Harlow sort of like starting to put a few little results together, and you know, now sit a point outside from safety. So yeah, decent result, and hopefully only one way for him to go up the table.
Well, Martin Tyler, his team, of course, Woking, he'd just been drawn at home to Watford. So that'd be an interesting one. Alan Dowson's just been on the TV, he's right in front of me, smiling his head off because he's got Watford. One of this team to me, you get beaten in the FA Cup. We're talking about the FA Cup, just looking at it over the top of the screen as well. But they got knocked out of the FA Cup, in my opinion, really unluckily as well. And since then, they've been on an absolute run of just incredible proportions. Kingstonian 0, Haringey Borough 4, and Haringey tonight in the London Senior Cup take on Leyton Orient. And Leyton Orient, I saw tweeted earlier on that they're going to put out a few of the big boys playing in that game as well.
Good, yeah. I think you know we're all disappointed to see a non-league side get knocked out of the FA Cup, and you know sometimes a result like that can really set your team back. But like you say, Dave, they've been on a great run, and you know sit a point outside the playoffs. You know it's an unbelievable story so far. I mean, when you look at it, really. You know, got to be team of the season so far for me. When I look at this league table, I look what they've done in the FA Cup. Yeah, they're having a great season. Great season.
And I mean, I think
Kingstonian will be disappointed. I think, you know, Lee had put together a little bit of a run, so I reckon that's a little bit of a surprise hit for him to concede 4 at home. But Kingstonian will definitely be there or thereabouts. You know, his firepower. He's just signed the lad from Billericay, hasn't he? The centre half, which again is another good signing. And he'll be disappointed if he don't finish at least in those playoffs come into the season. Lee will be.
And I think that's the thing for me. Not only did they win 4-0 Haringey, but it was against Kingstonian at Kingstonian as well. It was just like, you know, with the run that Kingstonian were on, you just didn't see that result coming at all.
Well, you only got to look at their side, you know. They've got like Dean Inman there, you know, Elliot Buchanan, Theo, Alfie Doty, you know, Aaron Lamont. Rob Telford to go. They've got a team capable of really taking this league by the scruff of the neck. But sometimes you need that little wake up call. You have a game at home where you most expect to win, or you'd like to think you're going to get something out of the game. You get beat 4-0, and now it's up to Lee to rally the troops again, and then go on another great run. And that's a sign of a good team. If he can now put a good run together, which I'm pretty sure he will with that firepower. Then again, I don't see Kingstonian finishing outside the top 5. I really don't.
Lewis 1, Leatherhead 0. Leatherhead again, one of those teams. They went on a really good run, and then all of a sudden, I think they got beat by Haringey, didn't they? And now Lewis. So it's again they've sort of hit like a couple of games where it just seems really weird. They win a few, lose a few. Everybody.
I said to us I remember saying to you on the Friday night show, you know, I made quite a few friends down at Leatherhead, and I was gutted to see them in that, you know, that bottom 3. And since I've sort of like, you know, said to I'd love to see them get out of it, they're gone on an unbelievable run. So hopefully I'll send a bit of good fortunes to the people down at Leatherhead. And you know, they're sitting on 22 points. They're now 6 points out of the playoffs. What a crazy league this is this year! Crazy.
Everybody's beating each other. It's just incredible. Potters Bar Town 1, Margate 2. Franny Collin with the winning goal there for Margate as well.
Yeah, good result for Margate. I think that was needed. Like I said, sitting in 12th position, they are a big football club, and they missed out on the playoffs last year, and I'm sure those down at Margate will be expecting to at least be in and around that top 5. But it looks like it's going to be a cracking second half to the season. Like you just said, Dave, everybody can beat everybody. So it's making that to be an interesting league this year.
Whitehawk 1, AFC Hornchurch 1. And of course, AFC Hornchurch have taken the manager from Waltham Abbey.
Yes, wasn't he at Thurrock last year?
He was Thurrock.
Did he manage?
Yeah.
Did he manage Thurrock last year? Yeah. I mean, that's again. I don't know too much about the fellow. I was speaking to a friend on the phone a couple of days ago when I was told that he'd got the job, and I didn't realise he'd won the trophy 3 times. So he must have a little bit about him. So not a bad manager to go and win the FA Trophy 3 times when he was at Grays and that, I believe. But yeah, I think. Hornchurch again, White Hawk coming down from the division. Hornchurch sort of like coming up. Like I say, 1-1. Is it a good result for AFC Hornchurch on the road? It's a point, and like I said, with Hornchurch, I think it'll be a couple of 2 or 3 weeks before the manager settles himself in. Most probably bring 1 or 2 players in, and like I said, it'll be interesting to see where they are and what they're going to be doing over the next few weeks.
Yeah, but he's brought in Ronnie Wynn already from Waltham Abbey already. I saw that today, so that's 1 in already. But
I have heard a little rumour that they're about to sign someone, a very good player, but I'm going to keep it because it is a rumour, and I don't want to kill myself or kill the player. But like I say, you heard it here first, mate. They will be making a signing over the next few days, and that will be a very decent player, from what I've been told. But
there you go. Tell me later. Anyway,
I'll tell you offline.
Wingate Finchley 2, Corinthian Casuals 0.
Yeah, Wingate, very, very difficult place to go to get points, that is, and I'm surprised to see where they are in the league over the last 2 seasons that I've come up against Wingate. And like I said again, when you look how tight the league is, they just need to get on a little bit of a run now. And I'm sure Wingate are only going to go one way, and that'll be up the table. But you look at all these teams. I mean, I've never seen the league table so close. You get 2 wins, from 13th place, you're back in the playoffs. Yeah. So very tight league, and great result for Wingate on Saturday.
And Dean will be very happy when we talk to him on Friday night even.
Oh, he'll be chuffed.
And then, of course, the big game of the week, of course, was Worthing. 846 watched this game. Worthing won. Bishop Stortford, which is another team that are on a massive charge. It's the change of manager too.
Brilliant, aren't they? 2 points off the top of the league, and scoring goals, keeping clean sheets, and like I say, I know obviously Saturday's result again. On the road to Worthing, which is a very difficult place to go and get points. But yeah, Bishop Stortford, big football club on the charge. But the one thing I do like about Worthing, they stick to their philosophy of kids, and they bring kids through, and most probably got the youngest team in the league, if the truth is known. And there they are, sort of like, sitting 5th from top. So yeah, credit to Worthing, year after year, just seem to keep pulling kids through and keep competing at step 3. So that's pleasing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move into the north then. And Barking 0, Bowes and Pitsea 1. Winning goal there in the 69th minute, but only 54 there to watch that game between Barking and Bowes.
Yeah, well, you'd think there'd been a few more with Bowser, where Bowser was sitting, sort of like in the league table, 2nd from top. You'd have thought there'd have been a few more there. It'd be interesting to see how many actual Bowser and Pitsea fans went, and what was the home support. But like I said, I mean, that's quite disappointing. A disappointing crowd.
Basildon 0, Coggeshall Town 1. Corey Davidson, one of the players to be watched that Chris said earlier on. Got the winner there.
Yeah,
5.
Brilliant. Coggeshall, again, very good side on people like Curtis Hainsbound, Dev Cunningham, Connor Hubble. The list just goes on, and whenever they seem to sort of like need a player, you pick up the paper and they've signed somebody, just for that little lift. And I think the boy Nandi was on the bench on Saturday, so whether he's coming back from injury or not, I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's, again, 1-0 away from home, clean sheet against one of the top 7 sides. And again, you can't really see Coggeshall not being in and around those playoffs.
Well, he's just released a new album and a new single, so he's got plenty of money to pump now, hasn't he? So he's got some more to put.
Oh, Dave. Come on, Dave. Come on. Have you bought it? Bought it?
Yeah, my daughter has, don't worry. She wanted to try and take him against his side at the weekend. Brentwood Town 3, Felix Stonewall 1. I was impressed with Brentwood, I must admit, when they played Avery last weekend, the weekend before, and I must admit they look, like a really good side that don't, they just don't look beaten at any stage. Do you know what I mean? They're not a side that look beaten, and as I said, to win 3-1 against Felixstowe, I think that's a really good result for them.
That's a great result. But Felixstowe can't seem to get on a run at the moment, can they? Sort of like have a good result, poor result, good result, poor result. But like I said, the club sort of like local, just about 15 miles down the road from me. What I do like about Felixstowe and what Felixstowe have done, they've come up from which was called the Furlough Prem, and they've took a lot of them boys from that level into this new league. Yes, they've signed some good players in Reece Henry. Jack Ainsley has obviously gone over there. So the goalkeeper, Jack Spurling. So they have signed one or two players, but they've also given players an opportunity who have come from, I think it's step 5 in the Furlough Prem, to go up and play this next level. And believe me, Felixstowe and Walton is a sleeping giant. They're a football club who are serious about where they want to be and where they want to go. And I heard an interview with their chairman not so long ago, and they want to go through the league. So don't be surprised that they're finding their feet at the moment. And I do believe over the next season or two, Felixstowe will definitely put themselves on the map through the football pyramid.
And as I said about a team not giving up, they were 60. Jack Ainsley scored 67. And then Charlie Hughes scored 76, Albert Levitt scored 82, and Ryan Mannett scored 87.
87, yeah. But like you said, I haven't seen Brentwood, David. Obviously, yourself have. But if they've got that never die spirit, then you've got a chance.
Bury Town 3, Dereham Town 3. Another game that looked like it was back and forth all the time in that game. One was in front, and the other one came back. But back was 329. There to watch that game. When you think it's Dereham who've got to travel, that's a great, it's an amazing attendance, really.
Oh, it's been
you still there, mate? Yep.
And it is that they should. For me, now they've got the boy Ramadan. They just signed Ramadan from Leiston. They've got goals. I think that's what they were lacking at the beginning of the season. I read the reports, and chance after chance went begging. And now I believe with Ramadan on board, they've got goals in their side. But I suppose where I'll be a little bit disappointed, they've conceded 3 goals at home on Saturday. So tighten up a little bit at the back, and in the boy Ramadan, you've always got a chance of winning games because he will score goals.
Another team we were talking about with Chris earlier on, Canvey Island 0, Southampton Rangers 1.
Great result for Southampton, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a great result away at Canvey Island. Yeah, that's, score after 10 minutes, go 80 minutes without conceding, 90 minutes without conceding. So that's a great effort from Southampton Rangers. But, again, like I said, in this league and the league above, Dave, I think on their day anybody can beat anybody. And I think if you're not at it, I think you can easily come undone.
Well, just say good evening to Donna. She's the secretary at Harlow Town. She's just joined us. Grays Athletic 0, Haybridge Swifts 1. Alberto Pinto was sent off in that game, but good win that for Haybridge at Grays.
Yeah, great result. I see Matthew Price is on the score sheet again. Julian will be, like I said, he'll be chuffed with that result, and it keeps them right up there, don't it? Since he's come in, Jody done a fantastic job there, and last season's heroics. But you look this, Jody stepped away from it. Julian's come in, and I think sometimes the hardest things for ex-pros is knowing non-league players. And I'm sure there are 1 or 2 scouts out there doing that for him. But again, sitting on 28 points, 5th from top, he'll be hoping for playoffs at a minimum as well.
Great Wakering 2, Tilbury 3. George Sykes getting on the score sheet there and scoring the winner for Tilbury.
Yeah, well, I think we were talking earlier. He seems to have made 1 or 2 signings, Tilbury, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time. We'll see over the next few weeks on how far he's brought that team and pushing that team forward. But yes, surprised, it's surprised in some sense because I thought I watched George Sykes in sort of like pre-season, and I thought Malden he looked all right. So didn't quite work out for him there, but he's gone to Tilbury and ended up getting the winner.
Morland Tiptree 4, Romford 1. Eddie Louis Desang getting a hat-trick there for Morland Tiptree.
Yeah, I know Wayne Brown pretty well, and the one, when I've watched him in the pre-season games, when I went and watched the lad who we took on loan from Colchester, Malden get the ball down and play. There won't be many better footballing sides in the league than Malden. And like I say, Eddie's helped himself to a hat-trick, but, with Wayne Brown's experience, that little connection with Colchester, although I do believe that he's gone out away from Colchester to look for more talent, I think Wayne and Malden will be in for a good season. And I think to close the gap in the pro level, the under 23 level, Malden need to go to the next step. So I think he'll be putting a bit of pressure on himself to get out of this division this year.
Mildenhall Town 1, Averley 2 there for Andy Freeman as well.
We said earlier, didn't we? I think in this side, I think Averley are going to score goals, and with the young centre half Harry Gibbs, I think he's an excellent centre half, young, hungry, wants to develop. And then we look at the goalkeeper, and we see it on Facebook a little while ago, being the best baller at this level. And goalkeepers have had to change. You have got to be a player. And like I said, I watched this lad last year and I thought he was outstanding, and Averley have got a fantastic stopper. And like I said, in Kofi and Richardson, they've got goals. They've got goals in their side, and again, I think, I said earlier, they'll be there or thereabouts.
Whittam 2, AFC Sudbury 0. And Phil Kelly being sent off for Sudbury. 108 there at Whittam, and a win at last for Whittam Town.
Yeah, John Watson with 2. That was my old club, Whittam, going back a few years. I'm pleased to see them get a win, but obviously gutted for Mark Morsley that they've lost, and I believe he was also sent from the stands. I read in the local press, so he'll be disappointed. And obviously, I'm not sure if that was straight red for Phil Kelly or 2 yellows, but he's a very good player, Phil Kelly, and if they've missed him for 1 game, you'll get away with it. I think if you lose him for 3, that could hurt Sudbury. But again, a sleeping giant in AFC Sudbury, big football club, well supported football club as well. But when I played, Dave, at Whittam, I think we used to get about 33 people, mate. So it don't really surprise me to see 108 at Whittam, to be fair. But pleased to see them get their first win. But like I said, gutted for Sudbury.
I mean, it must be one of those things. It must have been. I wouldn't say a dodgy decision, shall we say, but it must have been some kind of a decision to get Mr. Morsley that rolled up that he gets sent off.
Yeah. I've had some good banter. I've had some good banter run-ins with Mr. Morsley. But we see it, don't we? We look at Jurgen Klopp in the derby. Football's a passionate game. And when you feel your players are not getting the right decisions, you're going to stick up for them. But unfortunately, we talk about the respect campaign, and I'm not one to talk about being fair to referees because, like I say, I've been loose with my tongue many times. They have got a tough job, and I'm sure Mark made his views and got his points across that were a little bit too strong for the officials, and they've moved him from the dugout. But he's a character, and they're them sort of characters, they should be in football because locally, everybody know Mark Morsley in and around where we live. So, to see him get sent off, disappointing. And, like I said, I'm sure Sudbury will pick up points and try and push on, get to those playoff places. Yeah.
We're going into the South Central Division then. 338 there at the big game there. Bracknell Town 3, Hayes and Yedding 3. It sounds like it's a cracking game.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not too familiar with this league, Dave, so you might have to take over a little bit here, mate. Like I said, I've only really been in the Bostik and the Evo Stick Central, mate, so you might have to take this by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, they seem to, I think it was a management change there at Bracknell as well during the week as well, but, when I think that, we travelled up to, down to Somerset or across the Somerset, during the week and went past the Bracknell ground, and it was like, wow, that's a journey and a half for people that, that there may be Waltham Abbey, Cheshunt and Ware and these type of people to get there. So, when we sort of sit and say Jigsaw League or whatever else, jokingly, that's a journey and a half to get to Bracknell. But, I saw Bracknell play against Cheshunt the other week, and they caught Cheshunt on the break 2 or 3 times, and, Cheshunt managed to nick the odd couple of goals to win the match. But, I think Bracknell and Hayes and Yedding, I think they will probably be the 2 that will be fighting it out at the top there for the league, come the end of the season. What with the managing change at Waltham Abbey, a few sticky results for them as well. Will that affect them? And the same sort of thing with Cheshunt. They seem to be changing their team on a regular basis as well to try and find that winning formula as well. So I think, the likes of Bracknell and Hayes in Yedding could probably be the ones that'll be pushing there for the promotion spots in this.
Tasty game, mate. Just the 8 yellows in that game. Is that a local derby?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, just the 8 yellow cards. But like I say, that looked a little bit of a topsy-turvy game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Marlow won, Hertford Town won. Hertford Town there getting a late equaliser through Elliot Bailey, replying to Marcus Mealing goal on 55 minutes. Our friends, and of course, as Keith says, the team we like to follow on the Isthmian Show, Morsley 0, Hanwell Town 0, 61 there. And for me, that's a great result for Morsley, getting a 0-0 with the high flying Hanwell.
Yeah, that is a good result. Just looking at the league table now, yeah, where Moseley are third from bottom. Yeah, that is a very, very good result.
I've got Northwood versus Chalfont St Peter on the Bostic site. I don't know if you've got that in front of you, if you've got a result there, but according to here, I've got nothing on here whatsoever for Northwood versus Chalfont St Peter at the weekend.
Nothing.
No score whatsoever. South Park against Egham, that game was postponed. Uxbridge 0, Ashford Town Middlesex 5 in that game. 94 there, and again another great result that for Ashford, because Uxbridge, I think if I'm right in saying, are sort of up in that sort of area as well at the top of the tree.
Yeah, Uxbridge is 6th first as well. The leapfrogged them, didn't they, at Ashford there? But yeah, what a great result that is, 5-0 away. Very, very good result.
And then it's Waltham Abbey 1, FC Romania 2. So a great result for FC Romania to get a win, and being at the bottom end of the table towards the Waltham Abbey are at that top end. Yeah,
good result. Like I say, Waltham Abbey sitting in the playoffs at the moment, so yes, very good result.
We're looking at we were talking about Ashford Middlesex. We're just having a look at the team of the week that's just finished. The 4 teams that were nominated were Ashford Town, Middlesex, Witham Town, Haringey Borough and East Grinstead. Ashford got no votes whatsoever. East Grinstead got 3% of the votes. Haringey Borough 40% of the votes. And Witham Town were this week's Miller John Isthmian Show team of the week with 57% of the vote. So well done to Witham. Ware 3, Chipstead 3. 2 goals there in the 90th minute. One of those from an old friend from Harlow, Dave Cowley, who was always a decent player when he played in midfield at Harlow. He got 2 of the goals in that game, but one of them was 90th minute alongside Samuel Bell from Chipstead, also the 90th minute. I've just been told Norfolk game was waterlogged pitch, so there was no PP. Thanks for that, Jake. There was no PP on the Bostic site, so couldn't say that one. And then Westfield against Benfleet Sports. That finished with a game being postponed yet again. Too many people shopping, I think, at that game. That's why it got pulled off. Into the South East Division then. Greenwich Borough 1, Haywards Heath Town 4. Guernsey 0, Hive Town 2. Hastings United 2, East Grinstead Town 3. That's a great result for East Grinstead against Hastings.
That is a very, very good result. Like I think I said a couple of weeks ago, we played Hastings in the FA Cup, and I thought they were excellent. I thought they were outstanding, sitting second from top. I know they're like 10 points behind Craig's, but yes, that is a very, very good result against a good footballer side, Hastings. I thought they were very, very good when they came to Leiston and gave us a footballing lesson.
Herne Bay 0, Three Bridges 3. Connor French getting a hat-trick for Three Bridges. Horsham 4, Winstable Town 0. Phoenix 1, Ashford United 2. I would have thought Phoenix would be a little bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah, losing at home, mate. He's dropping points at home is very, very disappointing. But again, you look at that league table, Dave, that's another tight one, isn't it? You can go right down to Sevenoaks Town on 21 points, Horsham on 25. So a couple of wins just put you right back amongst it.
But was you surprised there at Ashford with Gary Alexander being dismissed by Tex? Have you ever heard of anything like it?
I haven't, mate, and you don't want to see it, do you? No. You know, you read about it, and you follow social media and things, and when you read about it, it just don't make good reading for non-league football. I I just wish these football clubs would do things a little bit more professionally. You know, we as managers, we put many hours in, and I mean many hours. And I've always been a believer that you don't manage a team, you manage a football club. And when you put all those hours in, to receive a text message relieving you of duty is just so disrespectful.
Mm. And of course, we should mention, for Keith's sake, Sam Mott saved a penalty in that game as well. So I'll never be able to be seen again if I didn't mention that. But of course, the ex-Thamesmead manager as well has taken over from Gary. Tommy has gone in there at Ashford as well as their new manager.
Must be, like I say, big football. I don't know an awful lot about Ashford, so apologies. But big football club, Dave. Are they a big football club? Should they be up there? Should they be sort of like looking for promotion out of this division?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, they should be up there. Yeah. Without, it's not great. Someone else has said the Tilbury manager Joe Keefe was also texted to say his job was gone as well. And Simon Kidby's come back and said, so managers don't release players by text then. Don't know, do they?
Well, I certainly never did. I think sometimes you have conversations by text messages, but I think when it comes to moving players on, I think you just got to show a little bit of professionalism. Hasn't quite worked out, and you move on. But like I said, to manage, you got to manage players, and sending someone a text message saying, "Well, we're releasing you," I think is a little bit poor. To be fair.
Ramsgate 1, Sevenoaks Town 3. Frankie Sawyer with a penalty. Kenny Pogue and Luke Coleman getting the goals for Sevenoaks. And Whiteleaf 6, Faversham Town 0. Great result for Whiteleaf.
Yeah, keeps them right in there, doesn't it? Great result.
119 there for that game. We'll just have a quick look at the tables, see where everybody is, and we'll also have a look at the goal scores as well, because I've done that for a few weeks. So in the Premier Division, then, Dorking Wanderers, they sit top. They've got played 18, and they were on 33. Tonbridge Angels have played 18 on 32. Bishop Stortford now moving up to third. They've played 18 with 31. Kingstonian have played 19 with 30. And then Worthing on 14, played 14. Carshalton have played 17. They're both on 28. And then we've got teams on 27, 26, 25, 23, 22, 20. As we were saying earlier on, even the likes of AFC Hornchurch all the way down to 17, are on 18 points. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 wins and they're in those playoff positions. It's just an incredible state of affairs in the Prem. But it's Whitehawk who are bottom. They've played 18 with 13 points. Burgess Hill Town have played 19 with 14. Harlow played 18 with 15. Brighton and Sear played 16 with 16. And then Mersham have played 15 with 18. And then it's Hornchurch have played 17 also with 18 as well. Someone's just touching Sittingbourne against VCD. That was also postponed, of course, for a waterlogged pitch as well. And then if we move then into, if we can, we'll filter it by division. We'll go into the North Division. Aveley sits top. They've played 14 with 34 points. Bowes and Pitsea have played 15 with 32. Coggeshall played 15 with 31. Malden Tiptree have played 15 with 30. Haybridge Swifts have played 15 with 28. Grays Athletic have played 15 with 27. And then at the bottom, Whittam Town have played 15 with 9. Dereham played 15 with 13. Soham have played 15 with 13. Milden Hall played 15 with 13. Romford have played 14 with 14 as well. We can tell it's Orient 1, Haringey Borough 0 in the London Senior Cup tonight already. In the South Central Division, Marlow sit top. We didn't really speak about them when we did it. We said, I said Bracknell or Hayes, and Marlow sitting top, but there we go.
Yeah.
Marlow played 15 with 32. Bracknell played 15 with 29. Hayes and Yedding have only played 12 with 26, unbeaten so far, 100% record at home, 5 out of 5. Cheshunt have played 15 with 26. Waltham Abbey have played 15 with 25. Ashford Middlesex have played 15 with 24. And then at the bottom, South Park have played 13 with 4. Egham have played 14 with 8. Molesey have played 15 with 11. FC Romania played 15 with 13, and then Hertford Town have played 15 with 15. And South Park have lost 7 out of 7 at home so far this season. Would that be a bit of a worry for you, Glenn?
Yeah, it would be. God, a big worry, isn't it? 7 at home, 7 defeats. Yeah, that's a massive worry.
And then into the South East Division. I suppose before we go into that, we should congratulate Cray Wanderers in finally getting their permission after I think it's nearly 30 years to actually move back home, which is an amazing achievement for Gary and everybody down at Cray Wanderers. I know he was on the show a few weeks ago saying that he's going to have the pleasure of actually even building his own ground. So there you go. So, but massive,
brilliant stuff
after all that time, and I'm sure he said it was the place where they're actually moving into at the moment. So either a lap dancing club or a pole dancing club. So I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one or the other. Sitting top then, Cray Wanderers. They played 14 with 38 points, 100% of record away from home, 7 out of 7. And as they would say, as Mr. Wickenham would say, 7 out of 7 away from the 3G surface. Hastings United have played 14 with 28. Hive Town have played 14 with 27. Whiteleaf have played 14 with 25. Horsham have played 13 with 25. And then Haywards Heath have played 15 with 25. And then at the bottom is Herne Bay. They played 14 with 5. Another team played 7, lost 7 at home. And then we've got Greenwich Borough played 14 with 9. Faversham have played 14 with 12. And then Three Bridges have played 13 with 13. Dean Sawyer said, "Don't lie, you know it's a lap dancing club." No. Too far away from me. Over the bridge. Don't go that far. Goal scorers then. In the Prem, who would you guess would be the top goal scorer in the Prem then, Glenn?
I don't know, mate, to be fair. I'm going to go for Pryor.
Jamie Curran played 14 for Jamie Curran.
Wow.
Bishop Stortford. No penalties in that either. All from, not from set plays. Jason Pryor, he's got 10. Billy Bricknell's got 9. Joel Nobel's got 9. Elliot Buchanan's got 8. James Mewick's got 8. Daniel Smith's got 8. Louis Theohanous, whatever it is, 8 for Kingstonian. And then we've got 4 guys all on 7, including the machine, Mr. Reed. In the North Division, Sam Bantic as the top goal scorer in the North Division. He's got 13 for Coggeshall and for Heybridge Swifts. David Knight's got 12 for Bowers. Alex Coffrey's got 9 for Averley. Jack Ainsley's got 8 for Felixstowe and Walton. Callum Harrison's got 8 for Sudbury. Tom Richardson's got 8 for Averley. DeCarry Sheriff has got 8 for Malden and Tiptree. Lewis Swift's got 8 for Tilbury. Andy Freeman's got 7 for Averley. Ross Wall's got 7 for Coggeshall. Harrison Chatting's got 6 for Heybridge. And Oliver Hughes has got 6 for Bury. I think what surprises me about those there, people have asked me who was the top goal scorer at Averley, I probably would have turned around and said Tom Richardson. So
yeah, I'd have said Tom as well. Yeah,
there you go with that one. South Central, we've got Lee Barnaby. He's got 10 for Hayes and Yedding. Danny Bassett's got 10 for Tooting. James Ewing's got 10 for Northwood. Joseph Grant's got 10 for Bracknell. Awui Akinasanie has got 9 for Cheshunt. Ezekiel Badamosi has got 9 for Chipstead. Mark Bitmead has got 9 for Ashford Town. Sebastian Bauman's got 9 for Bracknell. Thomas Collins has got 9 for Hanwell. Liam Ferdinand 9 for Bracknell. Scott Harrison 9 for Bedford Sports. And Cameron English has got 8 for Marlow. Once the iPad works, we're going to the South East. Zach Ansah has got 17 for Hive Town. So you look at all those what we've had so far, and all of a sudden, bang, someone's got 17 in that. Daniel Akaji's got 13 for Hastings. Charlie McDonald's got 13 for Keith at VCD. Jeff Duquesse's got 11 for Phoenix Sports. Eddie Desand's got 9 for Whiteleaf, he's now saying Morden and Tiptree on there as well. Samuel Corn has got 8 for Ashford. Rory Smith's got 8 for Ramsgate. Connor French has got 7 for Three Bridges. Jake Embry's got 6 for Herne Bay. William Fakiri has got 6 for Guernsey. Ali Fusini's got 6 for VCD. And George Ladanis has got 6 for East Grinstead. I mean, are you surprised with some of the players that are up there, or is just class always come to the top?
Well, when you look, Jamie Kieran, 42 years of age, still scoring goals. You know, what a great achievement that is. You know, the hunger to still get out there and score goals is so good to see, because, like I say, you know, a few pros have come down to this level of football. You sort of like see them last for a few games, then disappear. But fair play to Jamie to sort of like be leading the Golden Boot in that league, is full credit to him.
I'll just have a look. Something we don't normally talk about on the show, which is the Velocity Trophy, of course. I'm just looking at some of the games that have been played, haven't been played. So round 3 was Winstable Town 4, Cheshunt 3, Folkestone Victor 2, Hayes and Yeading 0, Hive Town 0, Burgess Hill Town 2, Morden Tiptree 1, Enfield Town 2, AFC Hornchurch 3, Chipstead 0. And then tomorrow night is Bracknell versus Felixstowe and Worthing versus Mersham. The actual draw's not actually printed in front of me, but one quarter final is Hornchurch versus Winstall Town. So you've still got Folkestone Victor still left in, Burgess Hill still left in, Enfield Town still left in, and then either Bracknell or Felixstowe or Worthing or Mersham. I mean, it's one of those ones over the last few years. It's been a Billericay trophy, isn't it, over the last few years? But with them now sort of no longer around, I mean, who do you see possibly getting there and winning that one? You've got Hornchurch, Winstable, Folkestone Victor, Burgess Hill Town, Enfield Town, Bracknell, Felixstowe, Worthing and Mersham. Would you say Enfield Town would, on paper, if they played their full strength team, would be the favourites, or?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my neck on the line and I'm going to go for a Worthing Cup win. Mm-hmm. I think with Worthing, you know, they've got a young group, and he'll most probably play his stronger side in that competition as well. And I don't know, I see Worthing. I'm going to go for Worthing, Dave.
Mm. I mean, it seemed to be a team that, you know, again, big following. I mean, looking at that, I suppose, I'm not sure if they've got each other in the next round or whatever else, but a Worthing Enfield Town final would be a great final.
Yeah, it'd be fitting. I'd like to see Felixstowe get there, local club to me. That'd be nice for one or two of the players there. But yeah, I think Worthing, Enfield, you know, most probably going to be two of the favourites to make the final. If they can, did you say they steer clear of each other?
I'm not sure, because it doesn't. The actual Boston League haven't actually printed.
Right.
You know, the draw on there. All you can see on there is just one fixture for the quarterfinal. So there's nothing. You know, oars. There's no oars on there, shall we say, for you to know whether there is or there isn't. So yeah, that's the difficult one probably to work out if they have got each other or not. But it will certainly be interesting, to say the least. Yeah,
I'm going to go for Worthing.
Okay, mate. Well, we'll give people a chance to call in if they want to. 07912 435 005. That's 07912 435 005. So, your experience through this league, and of course the league you was in last year with Leiston. I mean, how much, you know, have you seen any sort of racist chanting or racist stuff going on in games, you know, that you've heard of or seen, or, you know, and does it sort of happen in the league? I mean, going back to, you know, sort of yesterday with, you know, the Premier League game against, of course, you know, I've got to say Arsenal 4, Spurs 2, with the banana incident and a few other bits and bobs that was been brought up on a national radio station today. I mean, do you see any of that sort of stuff happening in sort of non-league, or anybody out there? Does anybody else see it happening?
No, I haven't. I mean, I haven't seen it for a few years. You know, when I played, most probably 20 years ago, I remember we had an incident when I was at Needham Market, and you know, one of our players was thrown bananas too and things, and fair play to him. He literally peeled it and ate it and threw it back, you know, and tried to have a little bit of banter about it. But I don't think there's no room for racism in football at all. I'm with it, you know, the Kick It Out campaign. There should not be any racism in football. And in the non-league scene that I've been around, I've not seen it, I've seen one or two reactions. I come in the change room afterwards and one or two things have been said which players haven't agreed with, but there's just no place for it on a football pitch at all.
Is there any, I suppose, not necessarily just, colour of skin and stuff like that, racist sort of stuff like that, but even to the extent of, do you feel that sometimes if it's maybe even a sexism thing as well, possibly if it's a woman referee or a woman lines a person, or I've only seen it a couple of times with certain managers. When I've been at Harlow, come off and saying this one's this has happened or that's happened, racist wise. Not that I've actually ever heard anything at all, but it just doesn't seem. Is it stuff that we're being naive that it does happen and we're just not hearing?
I think you can tell by the reaction of people, players. If it has, if a player's been racially abused and he reacts, he's not reacting, and he said he's been racially abused, he's not going to react by not hearing it, and I think sometimes when there's a melee of players all get involved with it as well, and what you saw yesterday, a supporter throwing a banana skin at the Arsenal forward, it's just, in today's game, in today's football, especially on TV, the cameras and everything else, he's caught, he's most probably got a life ban, and where can he go now? If they plant his face all over social media, etc., where can he go? Because there's just, in all walks of life, there's just no place for it, and it, like you said, it don't matter what colour your skin is, what nationality you are, man, woman, we've all got equal rights. And, I watch the Sky Sports and I sometimes go on social media and people are sending videos in of the woman trying to commentate on the game. Yes, sometimes I sit here and I go, but it's still respect that she's put herself in that position to want to do that, And, I look at female referees and female linesmen and, when I've managed, none of my players have come in and said, oh, we've got a female referee today or we've got a female linesman, because I think in today's age, I think it is getting better, Dave, for equal rights, and I think that's important that we all support it.
On that sort of side of it, female referees, you don't see many of them in our league. I think we go back to sort of Abby Byrne, I think was the last one that I saw, and I know I've said about it on quite a few occasions on the show, but, when we was down at Brightlingsea, and I, to be honest with you, I can't even remember Brightlingsea were playing at the time, but they were playing down there. We sort of picked up on it straight away, that it was a female referee, and the control that she had of that game, when you think, because she was only a young girl as well, and, control of sort of like 22, 26, whatever it might be, sort of, strapping blokes on the pitch, and the control that she had in that game was just incredible. But it was something that always stuck into my mind was at the end of the game, and it might have even been a game that was for them to go promoted or whatever it might have been, but I remember it because she stood at the end of the pitch, and I think it was the game that Brightness got promoted against Romford. She was in charge of, so it was a big old game as well, and she was there and with the game, and it was right at the very end of the game. I think they was either doing the presentations of the trophy or they were doing something at the end of the game, and she didn't actually go into the changing room. She stood outside the changing room at Brightlingsea, and if anybody knows Brightlingsea, they're literally up by the clubhouse there at Brightlingsea. She was standing on the corner, and me and my father-in-law were there, and they say he's in his mid-70s, and the wife and the kids were there, and we were so impressed with the way that she actually ran this game. There was a few of them getting a bit leery with her, and straight away she's boom. They calmed down. She showed that she was in charge, and not in a nasty way, but she showed that she was in control of that of the game. And I went round the pitch at full time and went round there to just to say to her, look, what a fantastic performance, great, you were super. And she was standing all on her own, and you went to go towards her, and one, I felt uncomfortable going towards her because you thought, what would the reaction be from the referee? Because does she feel that I'm actually coming towards her to, like you'd expect, if someone comes towards a referee, it's because they've got something nasty to say. And you could tell in her face, as I started to walk towards her, you could already see if she was looking to see if there was room around so that she could back out of the situation, And you spoke to her and said, what a fantastic performance and all the rest of it. And you could just see the whole body language sort of drop and think, right, okay, I'm okay here. And spoke for about 5 or 10 minutes. And after I spoke to her and walked away, there must have been, I don't know, at least a dozen other blokes that went up to her after me and all went up to her and were shaking her by the hand saying, what a great performance from both sides, not just from Brighton. And you look at somebody like that and you just think, well, young referee, if that would have gone the other way, how would that have affected her game? Would she be where she's now, like refereeing Manchester City versus Arsenal at the weekend, live on the telly in WSL, top two teams. She was at fourth official Brazil versus England ladies the other week. She goes abroad now with the FIFA lists and all that sort of stuff as well. Would she have been in that position if somebody would have gone up to her and got into her face and said, well, you were, because she was a woman?
Yeah. Like I said, I've had my fair share of run-ins with referees, and I went and watched a game a couple of weeks ago, and there was a female referee in the middle. And to be fair, yes, she made 1 or 2 mistakes, but nowhere near as many mistakes as the players made and the management team in the dugout, And she got, 1 or 2 of the linesmen, very tight decisions. And fair play to her, like one the manager sort of said, oh, he's got it wrong, blah, blah, blah. And she stuck up for the linesman and said, okay, look, at the end of the day, he's seen it, he's gave it, we move on. And the next part of that conversation was so different had it most probably have been a male, because the manager just literally walked off. Yeah. And I've seen it I've had it in the past, even as myself. You talk to the referee all the way to the dugout, moaning. And I've had a female referee a couple of times, and it's like, oh, you've missed that. Yep, okay, keep walking, and you walk away. So I do think the respect campaign for, like I say, for equal rights, I think, what Sky are doing for TV, having women in commentating on games. Now, there'll be loads of people looking at this saying, oh, I don't agree with it and everything else. I just do agree with it, because I think if we can entice those women into, like, the man side of the game, shall we say, it's only going to be good for the future of football.
Yeah, and I think some of the ones that get mentioned, I mean, I see the one that gets posted quite often is Kelly Smith. Now, I'm a massive fan of Kelly Smith, so, I wouldn't have a bad word to say about her, but it's, again, you look at that and she makes a mistake on there and all of a sudden social media goes bonkers. Paul Merson and Matt Letizia and Charlie Nicholas and Phil Thompson make mistakes every single week. And
Dave, Cammy makes more mistakes than anybody on Sky. Yeah. I mean, not being funny, you don't even see when players get sent off, mate. Do you know what I mean? So
this is what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and it's sad to see that. And I mean, you look at one of the ladies that's on there now, and she's just phenomenal every time she's on there. She's a local girl round here as well. His name's it's going to bug me now. Well, I know people can't remember it, but she's on with Sky Sports now. She's on Super Sunday almost every single week. And, used to be the Arsenal right back, England right back, and she's absolutely superb on there. And you see that, you can almost see the respect from the other people like Graham Souness and all these type of people towards her, because of the fact that, she knows what she's talking about. She's got probably more trophies than both of them two put together. Oh, definitely. You know what I mean? Through that. So, but I think it's, Alex Scott. Thank you. That's for reminding me, Jake. And it is that type of thing. And I think it just gets a little bit annoying when, just because she's a woman, we'll have a pop at her. Do you know what I mean? On that, because you're not expecting to see a woman doing the commentary or doing the analysis or whatever else. But, it just seems to be, I think that's one thing for me that needs to be, people need to be a little bit more caring about, shall we say, with them on there. But we seem to have a lot of female secretaries as well, don't we? Do you know what I mean now as well? So it does seem to be a league that has quite a lot of, shall we say, it's quite level between male and female, even board-wise and stuff like that as well. I mean, we've got Kelly herself, of course, who's the league secretary as well. So there is a good sort of...
You look at physios, mate. I mean, there's so many more women getting into the physio side of it. They're going in a changing room with 20 blokes, and we had, our physio at Leiston, Charlotte Long, very professional, very, very professional about the way she went about her business. And what was so good, the boys totally respected her. So but like I say, by trying to entice more women into the men's side of the game, yeah. Like I said, I just think it's the right way to go.
Well, Mark Morsley's watching. Hopefully he's still watching. So if you are watching, Mark, give us a call. 07 912 435 005. 07 912 435 005. Because we want to know why Mark Morsley, the legend, ended up in the stands at the weekend. And we'd love to know. So if anybody knows, or if Mark is going to be willing enough to give us a call, not drop himself in it or anything, but just basically let us know why he was sent to the stands, we'd be really interested because, as I said, I'm a big fan of Mark Morsley, I must admit, so it would be very interesting just to see why that is. If he is still watching, it'd be interesting. Or if anybody knows him, just give him a nudge and ask him to give us a call. But you're talking about physios, lady physios. I mean, I've been there before now where they get the odd, they run on the pitch and they get the wolf whistle and they get that sort of stuff as well, don't they? Do you know, I mean, does that affect?
Yeah, I think there's levels. Do you know what I mean? I think there's levels we can cross, I mean, come on, Dave, we drive down the road, don't we? We see women walking about and we have a little mutter to ourselves, don't we? It's just the will of the way. But even with the wolf whistles, you hear it, and I think if it's supporters doing it, I think if a manager turned around and do a wolf whistle at a female physio, I think it could kick off. But I think you'll get that in all sports, mate, not just football. I think you'll get it in rugby and any sport.
I'm just interested though, if you've got a female physio, how do they sort of cope with that? I mean, us as men would look at it and go, laugh about it. But did that ever affect you? Did your physio ever get anything like that, or did that ever affect?
No, she was, like I say, she was just very, very professional, and like whenever she went out, and she was an attractive girl as well, so she was going to get wolf whistles. I'm not saying whether it's right or whether it's wrong. I never heard it from the opposition's bench, and I never heard it from players. Certainly heard it from the sideline, and sometimes one or two of it from our own supporters. So you have, I think it's levels. I think we all know when we've all crossed the line. I'm not saying that's right to wolf whistle at a woman when she goes on to do treatment, and I'm not saying it's right. But I think sometimes there is sort of like a friendly banter, and I would put that in a friendly banter way. Like I say, I don't think it's right that managers and coaches do it, but I think when supporters are doing it, I don't think you're ever going to have any control of that. But I don't really see that as any sexist, because it's not a comment, is it? No. Do you know what I mean? So that's just my view on it. So apologies if people don't agree with me.
So I suppose this is a question. I suppose this might be, some people will look at it and go, what is he talking about? But do you ever see a female manager in our league?
I haven't come across one. No, I haven't.
Do you feel forward that there might be you might see it in the future?
I think so. I'd like to think so. I hope so. Like I said, there's some brilliant female coaches out there. I'm not too sure of the lady's name, but the lady at Billericay, the manager of Billericay ladies. I listen to her podcast, and when she does her interviews with Billericay TV afterwards, she comes across very, very good, very good. And if, I'm not a massive believer in you need to have badges to go and manage at the highest level. But I think if you've got a philosophy of football and you believe in your philosophy and you're good enough to promote yourself as a manager and conduct yourself as a manager, it don't matter what sex you are, managing at any level. Like I said, most probably 10, 15 years ago, we would have said that we wouldn't have seen female referees in the Football League. And we are. So in another 10, 15 years' time, we'll not even have to be that long. Who's to say that we won't see a female manager managing someone in the Premier League? I'm all for equal rights. And I believe if you've got the ability to present yourself in your sport and in your hobby, then it don't matter what sex you are. You should be given an equal chance.
Well, I'm listening to you, but I'm sort of texting the man himself at the moment. See, so hopefully,
Mr. Morsley.
Yeah, we're trying to see if we can get him on. I'm tempting him, but he just wanted to know what the number was, so I've just given it to him. So we'll see what happens. But it is for me. I think it'd be quite interesting to see the reaction of not. Do you think non-league players would react differently to a woman manager than maybe in the Premier game?
I don't know. If I was a player, if I was still in my own playing days, it would make absolutely no difference to me at all. No difference. If she was my manager, and she was picking me to go and do a job, I would give her everything that I would give a male manager. I don't, like I said, I'm not into this sexist thing. I'm, like I said, if she's employed, and she's employing me to do a job for her, then I'm going to give her my all when I cross the white line.
I mean, when I was at Harlow, we had a coach there, one of the youth coaches, a female there, a lady, and I can't think what the lady's name was off the top of my head in a minute, but she's now abroad coaching. And she was phenomenal. I mean, an absolutely superb, coach. I mean, the amount of time and effort that she used to put into every single game. She'd be standing on the touchline when the boys came off and they'd sit around her, and she'd literally have 3 or 4 whiteboards, and she'd be marking up the whiteboards and showing them where she wanted them to go, and physically, talking to them and showing them. And you could see that, from the first game of the season, it was a bit of a case of, look, not many people listening to her, and you could see they were a little bit distracted, the boys, And then by the time we sort of got midway through that season, you could see that she'd got these 14, 15 boys, sort of 13, 14-year-olds, on a piece of string, and literally had them, under a full control, showing them exactly, like one came off as a sub and it was rolling subs. She'd be saying to them, look, when you go back on, I want you to do this, this, this and this. And she had it all drawn out for him and know exactly what he was doing at all times. And she was an amazing, coach that you felt that could go in, a heck of a lot, further in the game. But I say she's now abroad coaching, soccer over in the, I think she's in the States, I think, at the moment, doing stuff over there.
Like we said, mate, I go and watch. I sometimes go and watch kids football, and what's been nice for me to see on the sideline, there's actually female coaches doing kids football, and I'm a massive believer in kids football. Anybody who know me, I've coached kids, I've managed kids, and I think that's where our future lies. Yes, as managers, we want to manage at the top level, but we can never forget what's underneath us. And going to like the local park over the way here, or wherever I go, it's now like women parents getting involved with coaches, and I'm hearing that women are now taking their coaching badges locally, and that's just great because when you've got a load of kids, one thing you do want to do is have women in and around kids football, so that's good. Is Mark Morsley here?
Well, he tried to get through, but somehow, I'm not sure how, but we managed to get an answer phone when he was calling me, so I don't understand how to do that.
He'll be back.
I'm not sure how he managed that, but we did. But we can try and call him back, I suppose, and see whether or not we can get him. But it was just strange, that one was, because we tried to call him and we ended up getting his answer phone when he was calling me. So he's got an answer phone. So we'll wait and see if he calls me back. But it'll be interesting, I suppose. Changing tack to Mark and to Sudbury and it'd be interesting to see why somebody like Mark would, I mean, Mark as well as I do, yes, he could get a bit carried away every now and again, but as I said earlier on, it's got to have been something that really must have riled him up to actually get him sent off.
You look, I've known Mark a few years now, and, whatever club Mark's been to, he's got clubs promoted. He's won cups, he's now in a situation now where he's given kids opportunities because he's most probably not under that pressure he was when he was at Leiston. It was get us out of the furlough Prem, let's get us out of the Boston North, and he's now sort of like working with kids and that, and he will have different results, so I take my hat off to him. Like I said, He's had the budgets to get teams out of the league, and now he's working with a football club where he's giving kids opportunities, and I'll take my hat off to him.
And as you say, Mark for me has always been, a really good guy. Always comes on, always wants to talk. Hopefully we can get hold of him. So I'm just texting him now, so hopefully we can get him. But here we go. Let's see. Hello, Mark. How are we, mate? How are we?
I'm fine, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. I've got somebody that you might know as well sitting with me. I've got Glenn Driver with me tonight.
He'll put the phone down now.
Mate, you say, mate, at the bottom of the lake.
He's literally on the computer, so that's why he sounds a bit. He's not actually with me. He's at home. I'm at home, so you can just about hear him. I'm afraid, but he's there. So then, Mark, what happened? Come on, then, tell us.
I have to say, well, it's probably not best not to say too much about what happened on Saturday, other than it was an incident that they got me a bit cross. But what I have done this afternoon, and actually this has nothing to do with what happened Saturday, because it's something in town for a little while, is that I've actually emailed the FA's registration department about the standard of refereeing and the way referees. The way refereeing is undertaken in our league this season, which I think actually has become very, very poor. And I know it was saying like Saturday, so I can be sent off, but trust me, I'm not saying it because of that. This is something that this is becoming a bit of a problem. So I have written to the FA today. I've covered in the local press and all sorts, and I want to try and instigate a situation where non-league football managers, football chairmen, football clubs work with the referees to try and get to a situation where we are actually working together for the greater good, which is basically the success of our game. Because I think at the moment we've got a situation where the referee fraternity and some of us football clubs as well have got to a real major impasse around the relationship, and I think it's affecting the game. So I think it's time that we need to all sit down around the table and try and get things sorted out for the benefit of our non-league game.
I hear where you're coming from, Mark. Me personally, Mark, I think they're fast-tracked far too quick. I think, we're crying out for referees week in, week out, trying to push referees through, fast-track them through. But when you're at high pro football clubs and you're trying to go for promotion or you're trying to get yourself into playoffs, I don't know about yourself, mate, but what I just found the mistakes that were being made, you wouldn't see some of them mistakes at a lot lower level with a lot lower class referee, as in levels I'm talking. And like I said, I come and watched your game at Stowmarket in the Cup, and two decisions. Yes, they were very, very tight decisions. But I look at the starting position from the official when he makes those decisions, and they're costly, aren't they?
Yeah, it's fair, they are costly, mate. Yeah, that's absolutely right. But what I don't want to do is start picking on individual situations, which has happened to us recently. Because I just say like another manager having a moan up, you know what I mean? And I think it's someone the press described recently as having, or I see about having a Mourinho moment. One of the things that really bothers me is around the assessor of a referee, which I firmly believe our game needs. Mm-hmm. But this is what I don't get. If you're the assessor, assessing the referee and the linesman's performances, you should turn up just before kick-off, completely unknown, take your notes,
100%.
Make an assessment on the performance of the officials, and then debrief the officials at a later date. What happens in our game, which I think is completely farcical, is that the assessor turns up, he's in the boardroom, he's around the club, everyone knows he's there. Every manager, every supporter, all the staff, all the staff, all the players, they all know he's there. And I think that has an impact on how the referee performs on the day. And I think that's the crux of the problem with how referees are developed, because the assessor never really sees what really goes on. And I think that's a huge issue, and I think that's something the FA needs to address.
Mark, I went to a referees meeting when I was in charge of Leiston, and apparently we score our referees, or secretaries score our referees out of 100, don't they? And there's no way a referee can score over 70. So a question was asked, why can a referee not score over 70? Because that's not possible to mark a referee over 70. So the markings was between 60 and 70, right? If he got marked below sort of like 60, obviously the report went in and they looked at the report. If it was over 70, they would not score him that score you gave him. They would score him 68.
Wow.
It was like, it was absolute. So the referee that you think's had a good game, right? Not the assessor, but when you send it off, the people who have not been there and sitting in a room, are scoring that referee and were not even present.
So what would you say then? Because I know that, a lot of secretaries, and I might be shot down by this, would look at it and go, well, if I'm marking below 60, then I've got to fill out this and I've got to do a report, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So most of them, even if they've had a shocking game, will mark them, say, 61, 60, so you haven't got to fill the report in. Because some of them turn around and say, well, look, if you mark them any lower than that, you spend all that time filling in a report in, and then you never get any feedback to say what's done about the situation
We had a meeting and we used to do it after we won football matches. If the referee was poor for both sides, but we won it, that was the best time to put your report in because it doesn't look like sour grapes. So even though we had won the game, we still put the referee's report in as poor, didn't have no control over players, etc., etc., etc. But we used to sometimes do that after wins as well. And I think a lot of reports that do go through are after bad performances, after below par performances from referees. I think if we do it when we've won football matches, I think it will help, like Mark's saying, it will help the referees and be better level referees for the future of the game.
What I'd add to that as well is actually the secretary marks the score out of 100 for the referee, but how does he know how that score's built up? It's just an opinion. So the next thing I would say is that actually there should be not just a score, there should be a selection of questions or the opportunity to give an opinion. And as Glenn quite rightly says, a lot of secretaries don't want to mark, but I think it's below 40 out of 100 because that gives you the job of having to have a report and blah 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 and the other. So there are so many things that are so wrong with how performances of referees are gauged because they are so vague. And given a random score between 0 and 100 is a prime example of that because what does that mean? I don't know what it means, and most of the secretaries don't know what it means either. So there's a number of things that need to be addressed. And as I said to you earlier on, Dave, I've written to the FA today, and I'm keen to be involved in trying to improve the situation because I'll tell you what, I think the whole thing becomes so detracted, and there's such a chasm between the football clubs and the referees that it is creating a problem for all those involved in the game that we all love doing.
And do you as managers speak to your secretaries and say, look, I want him or her marked at this level, or is there a discussion between secretary and manager, or is it just basically down to the secretary to make that call?
Go on, Glenn.
Well, for me, I mean, I was a little bit lucky because, like I say, Trevor Elm used to come and go, our secretary used to turn around and say, oh dear, that's a report. So I didn't have to say nothing, Dave, to be fair. I think your secretary know when a report has got to be put in, mate, to be fair. And I agree with Mark, and where I feel for Mark a little bit, he's voiced his opinion again this weekend. The only reason he's voiced his opinion is to protect his own football team. Right? His football team's been on the, I wasn't there, Mark, so I can't say, I don't even know why you got sent off. But if you're stuck up for your group of players, that's what we do. As managers, we watch our boys go out there for 89 minutes, right? And then someone take a dive in the penalty box and the referee gets it so wrong, it's a penalty, you lose the game 1-0 and you're travelling home from, I don't know, somewhere around the M25. It kills you. As a manager, it kills you. And the only way you can avoid, sometimes, I don't know what Mark was like, but the only time you can get that, release that frustration, is having a conversation about it, but you have to wait 10 minutes after the final whistle before you can go in. When you go in, you then get the report back, and half the report you get back, you haven't said half of it, but there's 3 officials against you, so all you always used to take me secretary in there, and we both used to have that conversation with the referee afterwards, 10 minutes after when you're allowed in. But I'm with Mark. I just think the level of referees at this moment in time needs to be improved.
The thing I would say is and as much as referees, Dave, as managers as well, but we're always tucked into a blame culture. They blame us, we blame them. What needs to happen is there needs to be some sensibility around having conversations around sharing the blame and improving what we all try and do. Because at the end of the day, I'm fully aware of the fact that without referees, we can't play. And I get that totally. But it has to be in the interest of all parties to improve that situation. And again, with the pro game, there's a big divide because the pro referees are all trained at those higher and fines keep out office and the other. So at our level, I think the clubs, football clubs and referees should be getting their heads together to work together to get this right, because at the moment it's not right.
Agree.
So are you going to tell us why you got sent off Saturday, Mark?
Yeah.
I'll give you a call, mate.
The reason I got sent off, there's too much to say after my player was sent off for no reason. That's the bottom line. So, and
when did Phil get sent off? First or second half?
And blah, blah, blah. My point has nothing to do with what happened on Saturday. That was me being out of order. Yeah. But bigger picture.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the game Saturday, other than that sort of incident. I mean, it was a bad day at the office, I suppose. And but I mean, was it fair result in your eyes, or not a fair result?
Sorry, Dave, you're breaking up, mate. I can't get you, mate. Sorry.
Mate, I was saying, the game on Saturday, was it a fair result in your eyes?
Oh God, yeah, of course, mate. Britain did so well. They obviously had a tough season. They did really, really well. We were disappointed. Listen, we didn't lose the game because of Phil Kelly being sent off and me being sent off. Did it have an impact? Who knows? No. Fundamentally on the day, they were motivated and they got their tactics right, and fair play to them. And I've said that on social media, fair play to them. But my concerns don't relate just to Saturday's game. My concerns relate to the previous Saturday for us, and the again was at the game at Stowmarket. It's kind of highlighted the situation where we are, and we can either put a head in the sand, or someone needs to be prepared to speak to the referees and say, come on, let's work together. And I'm talking to you today, so let's see where it goes.
Let's hope you get a response.
I'm not holding my breath.
I was just about to say the same to you. Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath too much. Yeah, if you'll get rid of it.
Hey, listen, Dave. You know about it tonight on your show. I've copied the local press in with the email I sent to the Referees Association today. And I want to push this and see what happens. And listen, if their attitude is to ignore me, then okay, that's their choice. But you know what? If they're sensible and they want to work with us, then perhaps someone will get in contact with me. Who knows? But
you need support, Mark, don't you? You need support from managers, mate. Everybody's got a club in together, ain't they?
I think he's gone. I think he's already gone. Thanks, Mark. Anyway. Yeah, he'd already gone. Yeah, and I think that's what they need, isn't it? It needs to be, all managers need to support that and get to that stage where, does it mean that every single one of the 82 clubs has got to write the same letter to the FA? Who knows? But it is that type of thing where, as much as you're coming from somebody who's a very experienced manager, especially at this sort of level as well and above, you'd hope that they would look at that and go, okay, we'll take that as seriously as...
Like he's just said, though, Dave, he's just congratulated Whittam for the result. So, he ain't lost his head because of the result. He's lost his head because of one or two incidents.
Yeah, absolutely.
That goes on in the game. And the one thing Mark will do, and he will, when he's lost football matches, all right, against Stowmarket, he took a little bit of a hammering on social media. I was at the game. And I thought one was close, but one was definitely onside. And overall on the night, I thought Stowmarket edged it first half and Sudbury edged it second. But overall, Stowmarket ended up winning 3-1. And I just think it's incidents in games that are leading to goals that are then obviously the result is going against you. And it frustrates you, you know. I mean, I've had it in the past where we've travelled many miles away, and you can see the goal in the 90th minute for sort of like a free kick. You know, I remember the playoff semi-final, and you know the free kick that led to their goal, Dulwich's goal. You know, I mean, when people say to me, "Well, what was your thoughts on the playoff semi-final?" We lost, in my opinion. People will say sour grapes, but watch the video back. You know, we lost to a very well taken free kick by Clunas, but it should never have been given. You know, and that's in a playoff semi-final. So I do get players who get frustrated, and managers who get frustrated. Yeah. But I am up for this Respect the campaign. But I think that's got to work both ways. Yeah,
absolutely. We've had one last message tonight before we go from George Pope. He says, "Is it me or has the standard of repping been worse this year? I can't recall a season of poor decisions this bad."
Well, we said earlier, didn't we, mate? 2 games, eight yellow cards we looked at 2 games in the league earlier. You know, there's 8 yellow cards in each game. You know, you look in other games, mate, and there's 1 or 2. So I think the level of referee's got to be a lot better. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, these 2 hours have absolutely flown by again, and it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. But before we say goodbye, next week we actually celebrate the 200th show finally. Next week, hopefully, as long as everything goes right with Keith, everything goes right with myself as well. It'll be our 200th show next week. Already we know that Dave Anderson from the non-league show, he will join us, which will be fantastic. We're also going to have Gary Alexander. Hopefully he'll come and join in the party as well. A couple of the guys that used to do the show with me, Carl Bates from the BBC, he'll come and join hopefully as well. And Migsy as well, that was my first original host on the show back in 2013, believe it or not, Glenn, in August 2013. We've done it from the back of a shop. We've done it in a broom cupboard. We've done it from the back, the back of a co-op. We've done it from everywhere. We'll try and see if we can get Glenn Paul in as well next week. We'll try and get everybody that's the usual faces back in for the show next week. Also as well, I'm in talks this week as well, so hopefully next week there'll be some news as well, some big news for the show, and of course for the show that me and Glenn do as well on a Friday night, the preview show as well. We'll try and break that news with everybody this time next week. But a massive thank you for Glenn for joining us tonight at short notice. I really do appreciate giving you evening up.
Thanks for having us, mate. Thanks for having us.
We'll speak again hopefully Friday night when we record the preview show. But until then, hopefully everybody gets the results they want at the weekend. But until then, thank you very much for joining us and have a good evening.